How's it going, folks? Well, this is going to be a little bit different kind of video. Not really a different type of video, just a different purpose, I guess. So just a little bit of an update of what's going on farm-wise. Today's the 27th, and so last video I had gotten the cattle moved and put them into that other field there in front of the bridge. They were doing just perfectly fine. Well, those dumb spring gates, same issue that I was having with them last summer, happened again. They took one of them down and just let themselves out. Perfectly fine though, because where they went to, there's lots of grass. The grass has been froze on, though, and so it's not what it once was, but there's still some feed value to it there, and they are going hard on that. One of the big problems with that though was we had wind that was like 75-mile-an-hour gusts a couple weeks ago, and I went around the fence yesterday, and the wind had blown down about 5 or 6 different trees onto the fence. So I had a busy day yesterday getting that taken care of. But the purpose of today's video is not really to document what's going on farm-wise. It's more so for me to test out this new camera. So I did get a DJI Osmo Action 4 camera. And so before, I had been using my iPhone, I don't know what it is, 15, I think. I'd been using it for everything. And I was using iMovie to take all of my clips from my phone. Then I've got a Mac computer, and so I would just pull up my photos, and I was able to drag everything over from my photo library and drag it on over into iMovie, and it was decently easy. But the problem was I was filling up the storage on my phone, and sometimes my iCloud photos, they would be slow to send over to my computer. It was kind of a headache. So the quality was good, it seemed like, and the real bummer was I kind of battled with trying to figure out a microphone pretty much since I've been doing this, and then got a microphone that was working just perfect, and now I've got this new camera and don't have that microphone anymore. So we're gonna use this video today as kind of just a test to see, does it work good? Can you hear me? Can you not hear me? Is it better than the iPhone? Or is the iPhone actually better and easier to use than this? I really don't know. I had taken a couple little videos at home, just trying to see how it would work and see how the microphone picked up and that kind of thing. And then tried to pull the SD card on this, put them into iMovie. The only issues I had was I'm using a pretty old Apple, it is Apple. What's the name of it? MacBook Air, I think. But it was from when I was in college. I think it's from like 2015 or something. And so it's pretty slow. This video right now I'm recording in 2.7K, and what does that say on there? 48 frames per second. I tried doing one on 4K last night, and it took forever to get it to even just play. It was like real glitchy, and I'm sure it's just because my computer is so slow. Now, if I did it in 1080p, I didn't have that problem. It didn't do that at all. It would pull it up just like normal. But honestly, it didn't seem like it was better than my iPhone videos, and they were 1080. So we're going to play around with this today. This is kind of in the middle between the 4K and 1080. And I don't have a ton to do today. It is late, and I'm not going to be able to be up here long today because I got to go back to town and go to the drugstore for my mom. For some reason the front screen went off, so that is, don't really know what that's about. I think maybe it's still recording. There's a red light flashing. I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna pause it here, and if it is still recording, I'm gonna see what's going on. Oh, there we go. I just had to tap the screen. See, this is a learning curve. And for any of you all that are getting, or you're thinking about getting one of these Osmo cameras, or maybe you already have one and you're trying to figure it out, we're just going to figure it out together, I suppose. So I'm going to turn this thing around here and we'll see how it looks going down the road. It's been a long time since we've gone down this road over here, in the truck especially, because the road has been pretty much gone and I've just been coming back here in the side-by-side. But I figured I'd save myself a little time and just come back here in the truck today while I'm on my way. So again, this is 2.7K, 48 frames a second, and there's some different settings on like the stability control, and this is just the rock steady setting. And I'm at 1x zoom. Try to zoom in a little bit here. That's 1.9. So the cows were in here yesterday. Yeah, they still are. You can't really see them. They're up in the head of the holler up there. But they're still grazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just trying to make sure everybody's in there. So this camera, it seems like it's going to be a whole lot easier to get videos, you know, as I was talking about it before, coming from like my iCloud photo library, if that's what you call it. I don't know the exact terminology. But pulling from that over into iMovie is simple, as long as everything is synced up. But you know, sometimes I'll come up here and video maybe, sometimes there can be 15 to 20 different clips of things that I take, and then by the time I get back home, most of the time it is not synced up, meaning those videos that I have taken are not showing up on my computer at home. They'll still be on my phone, of course, but they're not on my computer as well through the cloud. So with this, I'm not going to have that issue. You know, it's going to be saved on a SD card. I just take the card out of here, pop it into my computer, and then they'll be there. So that is going to be very nice. The only thing that I'm worried about is it doing that glitching thing that it was doing last night, which hopefully I'm in the process of trying to go through my computer and delete out old things, and hopefully that'll speed it up a little bit. But as far as the use of this camera and if it's easy to use, you know, I don't have a ton to compare it to. When Maddie and I got married, she did buy me a little GoPro that was, I don't even know what it was, a GoPro Plus or something. Can't remember the exact name on it. And it was pretty easy to use. And we got it because we were going to be going swimming in a cave in the Dominican Republic. And so that was kind of her Christmas gift to me, was that camera, so I could take it with us on our honeymoon, take it when we went to swim in this cave. Well, since I'm such a genius, I forgot to put the waterproof door on the back of it. So we did swim in the cave, and so did the GoPro, but we made it out. The GoPro did not. It never worked again. But it was fairly easy to use. This one is much more sophisticated than the GoPro was, which that was, you know, 7 years ago. Maybe even longer than that. So times have definitely changed as far as technology goes. But I would say that this is fairly easy to use. This is really where I wanted to see how that rock steady worked, because I'm on gravel road. Now I do have you on a stick. That's one thing that's kind of different from before. I was just holding my phone. This one, I can just hold the camera, but it's not as easy to do and not get my arm in it, you know. So I've got a little stick that came with it that you're on. But I wanted to kind of see how well it looks, you know, not looking at me. How well does it look doing something else? There's a few, well, most of the farming YouTubers that I watch, there's one of them that I watched that I reached out to, and he told me that this was the camera that he was using. And then two other people that I follow and watch, they use GoPros, which are, I mean, it's essentially the same thing. All right, so again, this video here is not really one of my typical farming style videos. It's not really going to be anything about the farm. It's going to be more about this camera and the quality of it, the use of it, and it's going to be a test for me, you know, to see, did I put it on the right settings? Is it better than the iPhone? So I wanted to just kind of get it out and try these things and that I normally do and see if I'm doing the right thing with it. Did need to check to see if this charger was still going. And it is. Awesome. So I want to kind of get in the tractor and hear the background noise of the tractor with the camera. That will be one thing that's going to be nice about this, is there's all sorts of different mounts that I can put inside the tractor here and get some cool views that I couldn't get before. So let's see how this goes. Oh. Well, let's see here. I do have it zoomed in just a little bit, not much. So that is 1x zoom. I do have the settings still on 2.7K and 48 frames a second. And the rock steady is on. Not rock steady plus, but just rock steady. So I want to drive around a little bit here and see what it sounds like when I get back home. Which I didn't really think that through. I did park the truck right in the way. So I have to go up through the yard a little bit. So kind of like I was saying earlier, I am going to be going out of town tomorrow, actually, and just really the only purpose of being up here today was just to make sure the cows were still somewhere that they should be, just to check on them, make sure everything was still going good. I am going to take some grain back there as I leave. I'll just throw some in the truck and take it with me, and I'll probably be heading back to town because I've got some more things to do. The clutch for this tractor is not getting any better. Some days I come out here and it works just perfect. Like I just jumped in it a minute ago, it was perfect, and now it's slipping again. So I don't know what the fix is. Maybe I was just talking to a buddy a minute ago, and it sounds like maybe there's an access panel that I can take off and spray some oil up in there. Maybe there's some rust on it or something. Don't know. But if it has to have a clutch, it'll just have to have a clutch. I hate to just let it sit and rot just because it needs a clutch, so I'm probably not going to do that. I'll just fix it. Alright, so I have revved this girl all the way up. I've got her up to about 2,500 RPMs, and this is typically where I would be when I'm baling hay. So I'm going to try this two different ways. One, right now I've got the camera facing me, obviously, and I want to see how the microphone's picking up my voice when it's facing. But I'm also going to turn you around here in a second, and we'll see what it sounds like when the camera's facing away from me, and see if there's a microphone in the back of the camera, because I don't know. So let's see here. Alright, so now I've got you facing the other direction. You can tell I'm going pretty slow. If you look down here at the tires, I've got her revved up to about 2,500 RPMs or so. But I wanted to see how the microphone picked me up back here behind the camera. If maybe there is a microphone in the back or not. And if so, what do I sound like? So we're going to go ahead and back her back down. No use in using more fuel than I have to. Back up in high gear. Whoa, hey, there we go. Didn't idle all the way back down. About threw me out of the back of the seat. I can tell that I really like how wide this camera angle is. I did get a little suction cup mount that I can put up here on the windshield for this summer when I'm going to be in here a lot. That'll be handy. I can put you over here on the door or down here. I can put you all sorts of different places. But for right now, with this stick, it's not that bad to use it this way. It's just not going to be ideal for every situation. I'm going to try and climb up this little hill here where the road's washed out. Tell you what, let's see what a shot looks like with this camera outside without me running my mouth. Let's try that and see what happens. So just to see a difference in video quality, I did change the settings and wanted to see if my computer handles this resolution any better than the other one. So this is 1080p and 48 frames per second, and still with that rock steady setting on. I can't tell a difference when I look at this little screen here in front of me. But maybe you can tell a difference. It is kind of foggy and wet and cloudy out here today, and kind of gray and nasty, so the color is probably not great. So it's probably not going to be fantastic. Tell you what else is not fantastic is this truck. So it has been nasty for quite a while. Like, it was covered in salt from the last snow we had. It was covered in mud because this road is awful. And so I decided today that I would stop and spray it off. So, because we've got cats that are feral at our house. They crawl all over everything. And there were cats like sleeping on the hood of the truck, and they had rubbed up against the side of it in different places, and they were just grinding that salt and mud into my paint. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stop and spray it off. Well, as you can tell, even after stopping to spray it off, thanks to the roads being the way they are today, it was pretty much a waste of money, because it is filthy again. But that's what I get for washing my truck when it's raining outside. It's still better than it was, though. So I am going to run back across the hill and check on the cows one more time before I leave and go out and see them for a minute, since I'm going to be gone for a few days. But hopefully this gives some of you and me. This was not necessarily a video for, everybody wanting to get an Osmo Action 4. It was more so for me to figure out, am I using this camera the right way? Do I need to change something going forward? Is this even going to work when I plug this up to my computer? Because right now, I don't have a clue. You may never even see this video. It's going to be a learning curve for sure. And hopefully I can still make some videos. I'm not getting many views on these things. But I do enjoy doing it. And if you've watched the first video that I ever made, there's a reason I'm doing it. And doing it to trying to document what I'm doing here, what the family's doing here, how we do it, why we do it, and the history of this old place, so we can keep this place moving on with the next generation. And that next generation's getting bigger here in about another month and a half. And so I want to do it the best that I can, and I feel like having a new camera might do that. I think it's going to make it easier on me, and it's going to free up space on my phone. And something tells me with having a new little one around, I'm going to be taking more pictures of her. So I'm going to need some more space on my phone, and this will free some of that up. But hopefully, if you have an Action 4 camera, or maybe even one of the new Action 5s, maybe you can share some tips if you've made it this far. Because this is not really a review on the camera. It's not even that. It's, how do I use the thing? Is it working? That kind of thing. But if you've got some insight on something that I should change, something that I should get to make this better for me, maybe some type of microphone if this one doesn't work out. If you've got any kinds of tips or tricks about these things, please leave a comment below and tell me, because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. But appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the next one.